I've been filming my life for the past 2 years. I've generated millions of views, grown 100,000 followers, and this is the art of filming yourself for 2026.
Wow, 2025, it's our last month, we're into December somehow, and somehow it's my second to last day here in Qatar. I've been here for a month now, which has flown by. I fly home back to the UK tomorrow, I've got 5 days there, and then I'm off to Morocco next week, which is actually a full circle moment for me because I went to Morocco at the start of this year when I was going through a breakup and I wasn't in the best place mentally, and now I'm sort of fully healed going back there. So it's a reflection of this year. You know, I'm really proud of myself for everything that I've been through this year. Yeah, I'm really proud of myself. And actually, when I'm watching back through these videos this year, I realised I've had to create a whole new catalogue. I've had to create a whole new catalogue of content because I don't want to keep going through those folders and re-watching my life, you know. So I've had to get creative this year and create a whole new catalogue of B-roll content, you know, of me working, me at home, me travelling, and that's what I've managed to do. And throughout doing that, I've really worked out a new style of content that works online. And I'm going to break down, for you guys, if you're watching this, I'm going to break down how to film yourself when out and about to make sure you're getting the best shots and the most engaging content possible. First off, let's get this day started because it's a beautifully sunny day here in Qatar. So let's go.
I've got 3 videos that I'm shooting now. I want this to be completely separate to Words of Rust. Words of Rust is content that I sort of script very specifically towards a certain target audience. I shoot everything cinematically. I like to have everything looking, sounding the way that I want to. And this is going to be very sort of rough, raw, off the cuff, sort of just give myself a prompt and then just go with it sort of thing. So I've got three prompts that I'm going to have as videos. I got dropped by my management, which is a video, and that is actually a story to tell another time. How to build B-roll, and then the most important video you'll ever watch. And so I'm going to basically put the camera up and I'm just going to start rolling.
Tell you what, I'm going to really miss working up here.
We are about to head over to a place called The Pearl and get some lunch, get some content, and I'm also going to run you through exactly how I shoot all of my B-roll when filming myself. Okay, let's talk about filming yourself. There's A-roll and there's B-roll, and the difference is A-roll is your main footage. Whether you're doing documentaries, interviews, talking to camera, education, that is your main footage. Your B-roll is everything that you use to fill in the gaps, to tell the story, to get you from a location 1 to location 2. But if we're trying to make social content, we just need angles. When I started Words of Rust, I wanted the focus to be the words. So I managed to build a whole audience pretty much from using B-roll and then a voiceover. But if you are using A-roll and talking to camera, my first piece of advice would be split your script up line by line and film in a different angle each line. It changes the pace of the video and keeps it engaging. That's your A-roll pretty much sorted. I'm now going to show you what I would do to build my catalogue of B-roll shots to make it cinematic, engaging, and a little bit more premium. Okay, the quickest and easiest way to build up a catalogue of B-roll is to film 3 shots of the same thing and film it in a sequence. And if you don't know what I mean by that, I'm talking about a wide shot, a medium shot, and a close-up shot. This is currently where I am. There's Ree, sat on the bench. And you can see the sort of space that I'm dealing with. Now, if I was going to get a catalogue of B-roll shots that I can use on Words of Rust, I would do something like this. I'm shooting all of this, by the way, on a 17 to 28 2.8, so it's quite a wide angle lens.
So, as you can see, it's quite an empty courtyard. I'm going to get a shot of me walking in here, that's the wide shot. I'm going to sit down on the sofa, on the bench, that's the medium, and then I'll get a close-up of me on the bench.
What's happening? Quick break in the vlog because I wanted to show you how I actually film myself. It's not as easy to get everything that I want to say over to you in a vlog sort of style, so I wanted to actually show you like a mini workshop that I've created just now because it's easier. And these sort of workshops are the sort of thing that I offer in my community, the 6am Collective, which, by the way, we're soon to be releasing and launching season 2, which I'm super excited for. We're going a lot deeper on the productivity calls, the community calls, the feedback sessions, because the one thing that I learned from last year was just how valuable those conversations can be with other like-minded creatives. Sometimes the knowledge and inspiration you can get from having a chat with someone in the same position as you is incredible. If you are interested in that, we do have a section of the community that is available for everyone. So if you do want to join, link is down in the bio, you can sign up there. Anyway, so when filming yourself, we've all heard of the phrase, film 3 angles of the same thing, a wide, a medium, and a close-up. Well, this is how I do that when I'm sort of out and about creating lifestyle content. The wide shot is typically used to set the scene. Whenever I go traveling and I know I have a good backdrop to work with, I'd set that up as a wide shot. For example, here I know I have a nice backdrop of the water. Here I know I've got a cool flag, and here, actually, this is next to my house. But yeah, whenever I go traveling, I try and get a wide shot. The medium is usually to get the emotion, me reflecting. So I'll do a lot of like sort of deep breaths and a lot of awkward face rubbing. But this is to show emotion. And then the close-up is usually the task that I'm focusing on. So whether that be editing, hands on a keyboard, writing, whatever, you get the drill. So whenever you're out and about traveling, try and get 3 shots of the same thing. Focus on the location, the emotion at the location, and whatever task you're doing. So I like to draw the viewer's attention to the middle of the screen, the center, however that may be, and I'm going to show you a few different variations now. So of course, we've got myself moving. I quite often walk in the center of the frame. I do it quite a lot, whether I'm cycling, walking, running, whatever. But if I'm not doing that, then I will be using an object. So whether that's pulling a book out of a shelf or throwing a ball up and down into the middle of the frame, that's the sort of vibe that I go for. Usually, my positioning is in the center, and if I'm not in the center, something is in the center. At the backdrop of a skyline, like I say, or I'm pulling the blind. If you go through all my footage, you will see there is a pattern with that. Yeah. And then lighting, we've got natural lighting and sort of setup lighting. I don't use professional lighting, so natural lighting is a big one. I'm always looking for shadows or reflections or little cracks where light is sort of creaking through. As you can see in my apartment here, I like to film by a window because I know I'm going to get the light through at particular hours. And I'm not trying to plug the 6am collective, but in the summer, I wake up early so I can get the sunrise. The sunrise gives you beautiful lighting. Please do not waste those opportunities. And again, for me, creating self-reflective content, the light is really good to talk about. It creates that atmosphere. Again, you can see the light there on my own apartment and on the table coming through. And again, me sat sort of in that sunrise moment. If I'm not using natural lighting, I like to use lights in my apartment. Now, this was actually from an Airbnb where I don't have any lights to bring with me, and you can sort of see the lack of character, the lack of, actually you know that it's from that because you watched the video. You can see the lack of character, and you can see the lack of like emotion compared to the ones around it. I like to use a variation of like soft lights where we've got the blues, we've got the lamps, we've got sort of an orange here, or like again we've got just the blue this time. It's easier for me to create a different emotion and tell different stories, and also it's easier for me to tell different stories in the same location. My apartment is not massive. In fact, it's not big at all. I don't have loads of space to play with, but I try and get creative by finding different angles, using different lighting, using different setups, and that is pretty much a basic guide, as much as I can give you now. That is a guide on how I film myself. Anyway, back to the vlog.
Okay, this is all filmed on the 17 to 28, so it's all going to be really wide. What I've recently started doing is getting a little bit more creative with depth of field, putting a tripod somewhere further away, 25 to 75, and shooting through something. So you've got something in the foreground that is blurred out, and then you've got you in focus in the background, and it really adds this nice sort of like depth of field quality for Instagram.
In the exact same spot here, you can see this is why I quite like Qatar, because it's so quiet and there's a lot of different colours, different shapes, different shadows, lights coming through different areas. So I'd probably put my tripod up here, shoot through this hedge, and get me in the background by the fountain.
I've been experimenting with different focal lengths and shot types this year. So let's start with the basic question that I get asked. What do I actually film myself doing? Well, the answer is anything. It's your story, and B-roll doesn't have to be overcomplicated. So just film yourself doing the mundane tasks. But the way in which we make it slightly more engaging is by creating movement. I try and direct my movement and the viewer's eye to the center of the screen. So sometimes I walk in the frame, sometimes I'll be static and put an object either into the center or away from the center, but you'll always see me doing something, even if that's just putting my headphones on or opening a book. I then try and use my 3-shot rule. Like I said, a wide, a medium and a close-up. If I'm too far away, I'll go tighter on the shot to make sure the movement is still captured. It really is just angles, angles and angles. And so, speaking of angles,
I absolutely love this place.
it's called Qatar Hills, and it just gives you such a lovely backdrop of the city. It's very quiet, very peaceful, and it's been the place that I seem to come to most to get content.
Okay, damn, this view never gets old. Let me sit here. Today's a big day for me and Adam, because today is the day that we launch the Inner Circle list for the 6am Collective. Season 2 is what we're calling it. We've been working really, really hard on finding the best way to reward productivity and creativity, and create a platform where creatives actually feel inspired and motivated to keep returning to enjoy. I know what it's like when you're a creative individual with a dream, but you're sort of battling against this self-doubt and lack of confidence, lack of ideas, lack of time, or so be it, you think you have lack of time. And especially if you don't have any like-minded people to create with, it can be really, really daunting when you're just sat there scrolling and comparing your content to other people's content. Someone who spent his entire life chasing these sort of dreams and goals that people sort of say are unrealistic or unachievable, and for me to achieve every single one of them, I completely understand where you guys are and also what you guys need in order to achieve your dreams, and that is consistency, motivation, and just some support. And that is what I'm trying to create with the 6am Collective Season 2. We're going to be hosting productivity calls every single day. Each call lasts for 3 hours. And we are going to be having a program called the 6am Creators, where we're going to be bringing on other creators on board, working with other creators. And eventually, those creators will go on to host their own productivity calls. And so eventually, hopefully, within the first month of launching, really, we want to have productivity calls running multiple times a day, all different time zones, and eventually getting to the point where this is a 24/7, never-ending, never-sleeping productivity session where you can just check in, check out when you like, and work with other creatives from all over the world. On top of that, we've created a system that helps you track your progress, see what other tasks are being completed inside the productivity calls from other members, which gives you the chance to connect with like-minded people if you see someone working on the same thing as you. We also reward consistency and have an attendance tracker which helps us see the people that are showing up consistently, and that's something that we think is vital. We also have accountability pods where you have your own sort of private chat and private community inside the community, where only you and like-minded creatives who are creating content for the same niche as you can be, which means you can get actual feedback from people who are creating something similar and people who get you, which helps you build connections and hopefully make friends. And yeah, this is the first day of us launching the Inner Circle List 2.0. If you do want to be a part of it, please submit your email and join the Inner Circle List below. I can't wait to launch this. I think this is going to be absolutely massive, and something that I'm really, really proud of. And yeah, what a way to finish off my time here in Qatar. Sat at my favourite place, making content, watching the sun go down over, after a really productive and, an incredible month. And I'll definitely be back here soon. And I'm looking forward to 2026. But right now, it's time to get home, get back to the UK, get over to Morocco, do a content shoot for the 6am Collective, and then we launch. And so if you did like this vlog, please subscribe, like it, and I'll see you again for another video very, very soon.